Hi, my name is Mark Dempsey. I'm an author and journalist, and I'd like to tell you about something that is very dear and close to my heart, and that is getting kids to read and have an appreciation for books and other reading material, especially at a time today when many kids just don't read anything, and it's very hard to get them to do so. That's what teachers and educators have told me for some time now. Another very important issue is getting kids to stay in school, because over 1 million kids drop out of school every single year. And that really doesn't bode well for the future of our country, because it costs states billions and billions of dollars over time. And when kids drop out of school, lots of bad things happen, like increased incarceration rates, like increased crime, like increased teen pregnancy, and on and on and on we go. But the very foundation of getting kids to stay in school is reading, because when they read, they're able to comprehend the material, much of the material that they'll be having in class. And that means they won't get frustrated and they won't feel school is irrelevant. So that's why I think that reading is so important today in school. So back in January 14th, 2008, I wrote Richard Robinson, the CEO of Scholastic Books, a letter describing a project that I had in mind that would do exactly that, would help kids to stay in school, would increase literacy, would encourage them to read, and would be able to reach out to minority children, especially Hispanic and African American kids who now face dropout rates over 50%. And I thought Scholastic Books would be the perfect publisher for such a project, because they have a genuine interest in getting kids to read, and they work with schools all over the country. Well, I sent Mr. Robinson that letter on January the 14th, 2008, and I never heard from him. Didn't hear anything. Until one day, only a few weeks ago, I got a letter from Scholastic Books. And the letter is dated February the 19th, 2010. So it took them over 2 years to respond to me about a project that would encourage kids to read, about a project that would increase literacy and provide positive role models for children. And I got a letter here, and it's written by the Senior Vice President Publisher of Classroom and Library Group, Pinocchio Smith. And this is what Mr. Smith has to say in his letter, dated February the 19th, 2010. Dear Mr. Dempsey, our Chairman and CEO, Richard Robinson, passed along your partnership proposal for your project. I apologize for the delay in responding to you. Your letter has been passed among several people in the company who wanted to read it. Well, hang on a second now. When was the letter passed along to people? I mean, Richard Robinson got the letter back in January of 2008, but when was it passed along? And how many people actually read it? And why did it take so long for them to get back to me? How long does it take to read a 2-page letter? Those are the questions that I was asking at the time. Well, I'm not sure, this is what he actually says. I think your idea is a very interesting one. And Scholastic is certainly committed to those students who can be more difficult to reach. That's exactly what my project was about. While I'm not sure that your project fits into our publishing plan at the moment, I also realize that quite a bit of time has passed since you sent your proposal, and possibly the project is in some other phase of development right now. With that in mind, please feel welcome to send along any other ideas you have. Thanks very much, blah, 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 best regards, etc. Well, that was very interesting. And so I just thought that I would do exactly that, because I had indeed revamped the project since 2008. So I sent it to Pinocchio Smith. I sent him a letter describing where I was with the project right now, who was interested in it, and how it would benefit Scholastic and how it would benefit kids. And I sent that to him. 1 week went by, and so I emailed him. And I said, Dear Mr. Pinocchio Smith, what did you think about the project that I sent you? What did you think? Never heard from him. So I let a couple of days go by. And so I called him on the phone, because you see his phone number is right here in the letter, and his email address is in the letter too. And so his assistant wasn't there that day. So he picks up the phone. And I say, hi, I'm Mark Dempsey. And I sent you a proposal. I got your letter. I was very enthusiastic when I got your letter, even though a lot of time had gone by. What did you think of the proposal? And he said, well, refresh my memory. And I said, what? I said, well, you sent me a letter. I mean, I detailed the entire thing in a 2-page letter to you. He said, well, I get about 100 of those proposals a month. And I said, really? Well, I didn't know that. I just thought you were really just interested in mine. And so then he starts asking me questions. He says, well, are you a book packager? Are you a book content packager? And I said, no, I'm not a book content packager. And he said, well, do you work for yourself? And I said, well, matter of fact, I do, because I don't have to work for anybody else. And I said, did you get a chance to look at it? And he said, no, he didn't even know where it was. He didn't know where the proposal was. He didn't even know, and he had no familiarity with it. He didn't even remember writing the letter. And when I asked him, I said, how long did it take? Why did it take you so long to get back to me? Didn't get a response. And then he said, well, just to let you know, we're not acquiring anything right now. Well, I said, well, okay, but why did you write me the letter then? Silence. And then when I said, I described a little bit about what the project was about, he said, oh, well, we've already taken care of that. And those things are already in the works. And the next time we're going to be acquiring anything is in the summer. I said, okay, well, that's fine. Well, his departing words to me were, I'll just track it down. I'll have my assistant track it down when she comes back on Monday. And I said, okay. And that's been like over a week ago. And did I ever hear from Pinocchio Smith? No, I didn't. He told me what he was interested in was idea sharing. And he had sent me the letter because he was interested in the idea, or he just wanted to find out more about the idea. But generally, when someone sends a publisher a proposal, they have the idea that he wants to buy the book, not just to have an idea sharing time with the publisher. I spent a lot of time on the proposal, and I just naturally assumed that he would do like most publishers, that he would request something because he wanted to see it so he could buy it or help the company's bottom line, not just to read it and then just not know where it is. Anyway, it was very, very disappointing. And so I think the reason why Pinocchio Smith wasn't really interested in talking to me on the phone, because I didn't have an agent. But you see, agents aren't going to come up with any brilliant and great ideas, any new and innovative ideas. Because what they do, they look in the past and they see what has sold in the past. And then they try to sell that to the publisher today because it gives the publisher some sort of sales security that what they're selling today is going to do well in the marketplace. And agents, what are their track record? Well, 7 out of 10 books lose money. So they're only right 30% of the time. So publishers put their faith in people that are only right 30% of the time. But when I asked Pinocchio Smith, I said, hey, why don't you just look at my proposal on its merits? What do you think about it? How do you think it could benefit Scholastic? Because Scholastic lost $5 million last quarter. How about incorporating this into a program that would help kids, that would provide positive role models, that would increase your bottom line? What do you think about it, Mr. Smith? Didn't really get an answer. So this comes at the time that Richard Robinson is asking publishers across the world to increase literacy. And this is what he had to say about Scholastic. Helping children to learn to read, love to read, and understand what they read has been our business, our mission, and our driving force for 90 years. Well, I don't doubt Mr. Robinson, but it took him 2 years for him to get back to me, or for someone in his company to get back to me. And when they finally did get back to me about the very thing that he's concerned about in this statement, they didn't know where my project was. They had no idea where it was or what it was about. And I still haven't heard anything back today, because what they really were interested in is just seeing the ideas, not acting upon them. And that's disappointing, and that's sad, because what I really had in mind was helping kids. And that's what it's really, really all about. It's the kids. And I wish that the publisher at Scholastic had been honest and had been truthful and had been forthright in his intentions, instead of writing me a letter that wasn't all those things. Anyway, my name is Mark Dempsey, and I'm an author and journalist. And if you'd like to contact me directly, you certainly can. My email address is markd112@yahoo.com. markd112@yahoo.com. Thanks so much for listening, and have a good day.